Come on, man. Here we go. Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years, rocking my peers and putting suckers in fear, making the tears rain down like a monsoon. Listen to the bass go boom. While I was in London at Summer in the City, I overheard someone say that it was kind of like the end of the school year, that YouTube as a year had come to an end in August at Summer in the City, like a big party, and then in September, like school does, it all starts again. And I feel like I should embrace that, you know, draw a line under everything that's come before and start afresh, take a step up. You know, it's the end of the Key Stage 3 or the GCSE era, and now it's time for A-levels. It's the next stage. Don't move back, you know, get better, improve. While I was in London, being surrounded by all these like-minded YouTubers and creative minds and listening to the panels and the people talk, it was very inspiring, and it made me feel a drive to come back and just start making videos to the best of my ability and just, you know, not settle for anything less. Just go for it, fucking go for it, you know? And I'll admit that was a little bit crushed by events when I got back, because the post-Sitsi video that I intended to make from the footage I filmed in London and the video that I eventually made were quite different. It was the same concept and the plan all along to make the fake trailer, but the footage that I recorded in London actually ended up getting lost because one of my SD cards, in fact the biggest and most expensive SD card I own, just packed up partway through the days, and I ended up losing the majority of the footage and almost everything that I filmed actually at Sitsi. So that's why that video was not as good as I intended it to be, and also I didn't include as many people as I wanted it to. The other day I got my eyes tested by a robot. Not the optician, that was a man. Although he was disturbingly pleasant, so he could have been a robot. Ambulance. God, that was scary. A guy jumped out of nowhere back there and started walking really slowly in front of me. And I tried to sort of sneak past, and he turned around, "Alright mate, how's it going?" I was like, "Alright." Sort of ran off. It's kind of like the guy that accosted us in London. Basically, it was raining at one point because it was the tail end of that hurricane that was passing over, and we were taking shelter and sort of planning our next move. And this guy came up to us and started like speaking to us, and you can hear him the tail end of this bit of footage that I was filming at the time.
You make a fucking killing, you silly.
Now what he's trying to say is we make an absolute killing, i.e. a fortune now, selling umbrellas in this weather. But when someone comes up to you from behind, out of the blue, and you don't see them, and the first word you hear is killing, it's slightly worrying. At this point he just started going off on one. £1 your umbrella, £1 your umbrella, eh? £2 your wellies. Looking like some kind of Cockney Gollum with the hair of a Kuma from Street Fighter. He shook our hands afterwards though, so I guess he wasn't all that bad. He didn't shake Mick's hand though. I went to Croydon with Ant not too long ago because he was performing and he wanted me to film it for posterity or promotional reasons or something. And there were a couple of other people performing, and one of them was this guy doing a dance routine which I can only describe as beautiful writhing. And it made me deeply uncomfortable on a number of levels. I mean, because the venue was so small and intimate, you could hear over the music he was dancing to the sounds of him exerting himself, grunting and breathing and huffing. Not to mention that he then got off the stage and started writhing around on the ground in front of us, doing weird sort of death throw-like manoeuvres. And also part of his costume was just a stocking over his face, which gave him this weird, unearthly, glazed sort of look as he stared out at the audience. And then there was a point where he had to remove his costume, and he just slowly pulled the stocking off his face, at one point making direct eye contact with me as it pulled his face into this contorted shape. And I just felt like I couldn't laugh because the whole thing was so serious, but this guy was staring at me with this contorted face, and just then he started dancing around in just his pants, which was slightly less weird after everything that had come before. Speaking of Ant and performance, I helped him shoot a short film type piece for his channel not too long ago that you can go and watch, and in turn he's going to help me shoot my short film, which I showed you some test shots from not too long ago. And I've done some more test shots, and made some props and stuff. Incidentally, that's why I've got this sort of dishevelled Tyler Labine look going on. I've got to readjust my facial hair for the film. I've begun to feel recently that Chicken Bites, the sort of little vlog series that I'd been doing, was becoming kind of lackluster and boring. I mean, it was always intended to be a simple little this is what I'm doing situation thing, but they weren't meant to be as regular as they turned out being. The regular vlogs were supposed to be nuggets. You remember I made one of those way back in the day as the introduction to the series, and then never made another one again. I have scripts for those that I've not finished, and it's just the fact that they're much more ambitious in the way that they're being presented to people that I can't get around to filming them. I need them ready to go, and because of that I didn't really make them, and then Chicken Bites just filled the void. It was a way to regularly make video content without putting in too much effort, which was the point of it. It was supposed to just tide you over, but it wasn't supposed to tide you over week upon week while I never made anything. And to that end, I'm going to start making stuff, and I'm going to readjust the schedule so it's not regular. I'm going to take my time to make stuff, and it will come out much more sporadically. Chicken Bites is, well, it's not dead, but I'm cutting back on it. It's not going to be coming out every fortnight. It's going to come out when it needs to. And regular vlogs and nuggets and sketches, they're going to come out when they need to. They're going to be better, and I'm going to put thought into them, and I'm going to fucking make something with them rather than just shit. I mean, I get it. It looks like I just rode over on a longboat and I'm going to raze your village to the ground. The other day I caught myself going into a vintage shop on my way to the Apple store. It's actually me trying to advertise Celtic inclusion as part of the No campaign for Scottish independence.